Welcome, everybody, to the Cardano Army, supporting advocacy, education, and community for all Cardano users since Epoch 288. Today, we bring you an exclusive interview from Chef Theodore's Twitter space. Come tune in every Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Link and timestamps are available in the comments and description below this video.
Welcome to the Chef Pool Twitter space.
Hosky, the legendary Hosky token. Thank you for joining us, sir. Matt Ho is speaking on behalf of the Sundae team, so feel free to ask your question. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jeff, for the space. Thank you, Sundae Swap, for being here. So I have one question. Pi mentioned the existential threat that a lot of users have expressed concern over in regards with decentralization. So my question would be, what was the reason to allow more pools to be opened by the original scoopers rather than adding additional pools? Based on this, wouldn't that choice have been the worst one as far as decentralization goes?
So the real question is, why have the vote at all? Ultimately, where did that come from? And the primary driver for all this was the scoopers. We needed a method, because we have these scoopers, and these scoopers have a trusted role. So it's not as if we're doing, say just a straight ISO, where really anyone from the community can do that, because there's no risk, right? Anyone participating in the ISO, their assets aren't at risk. You don't really have to worry about the bad actors. If all we were doing was an ISO, we might have taken a different approach. But the key thing that we needed was trusted scoopers who had something to lose, and so were incentivized to be honest actors. We've got a pretty long queue right now on Sunday, and the last thing we need is for scoopers to maliciously reorder transactions so some people get ahead of other people. To do that, then, is why we created the ISO voting system. Now, we could have created two votes, but we thought trying to create two votes, one for the scoopers and one for the ISO, would have been incredibly confusing for people. And so we opted to focus on the thing that was most important to the protocol, which is obtaining a set of trusted scoopers. And I think, as far as that goes, it's worked fantastically. They've been just a great team to work with. They've been completely on top of things, and that's been running very smoothly. So now that we're past the scooper phase, we have this opportunity, because the scoopers are set, to kind of revisit, these allocations. Again, if not for the scoopers, we might have done things differently.
Right. So, and to follow up with that question is, there were other scoopers or other people that were voted that also had something to lose. So wouldn't it have been smarter to bring those pools in, since they too were voted for, rather than allow multi-pools to become even more multi-pools by adding additional pools under their brand? I guess that's what I'm going to go with.
So now this is more of an issue of confusion. So originally, the idea was to only allow a single pool within there. And I think within the, to only allow a single pool and have these pools die. And it had the opposite effect. It would have worked for some folks, but not for other folks. And it just turned out, whichever way we looked, there was going to be some level of trade-offs. And what we opted for is, the least confusion was to focus on just the pools themselves, right, rather than the specific individual pool. Whether that's the right choice or not, in hindsight, it's hard to say. At the time, we made the best choice based on what we understood at that point.